I hear some noise. Lady, come from that nest of death, contagion, and unnatural sleep. A greater power than we can contradict hath thwarted our intents. Come, come, away. Thy husband in thy bosom there lies dead, and Paris too. Stay not to question, for the watch is coming. Come, go, good Juliet. Stay then, I'll go alone. Fear comes upon me, oh much I fear some ill unlucky thing. I dare no longer stay.
And on, good nurse. I come anon. Oh, by I come. How now, who calls? Who is that calls? Is it my lady mother? What unaccustomed cause procures her hither? Madam, I am here. What is your will?
She's dead. Deceased, she's dead. Oh, alack the day. Oh, lamentable day. Oh, woe, woeful day. Most lamentable day, most woeful day that ever I did yet behold. Oh, day, oh, day, oh, day, oh, hateful day. Oh, never was seen so black a day as this. Oh, woeful day, woeful day.
St. Francis be my speed. How often I to my old feet stumbled at graves. I needs must. It's too late. The watch is about. Haste. All now is haste. To this short shrift I must about. Confess all that did befall. Their actions, my deeds, must I reveal. How I did abet these young lovers in their calamitous journey. Truth be my torch. No more shall my own conscience conceal. Else ever this worthless body shall an eternal price pay. Such pitiful sight. There lay the county slain, and Romeo, warm, bleeding, and newly dead. Go tell the prince. Time is out. There are but minutes before my sovereign prince. All I must bear.
And stint thou too. I pray thee, nurse, say I. It is an honour that I dream not of. I'll look to like, if looking liking move, but no more deep will I indart mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly.
Oh, woe. A woeful day. Most lamentable day. Most woeful day. For so is this too. She is gone, and now so must I. All is lost, but ever life must on. From fair Verona and unfair Capulet, graze where you will, you shall not house with me. Back to Naples welcoming. What doth avail the art to wail with pensiveness in sorrow? Who can tell that he shall well live here until the morrow? We'll therefore forevermore, while this our life is lasting, eat, drink and sleep, merry keep, to saintly folkly fasting.
Juliet, warm, newly dead. Took she her life? I fear it's like she did, for she did as much say when she came to my cell to seek out my help.
Oh, bid me leap, rather than marry Paris from off the battlements of yonder tower, or shut me nightly in a charnel house, o'ercovered quite with dead men's rattling bones, with reeky shanks and yellow chapless skulls, or bid me go into a new-made grave and hide me with a dead man in his shroud.
Things that, to hear them told, made me tremble. Yet she resolved to do them without fear or doubt, to live an unstained wife to her sweet love. Oh, Juliet, I already knew thy grief. It strained me past the compass of my wits. Resolved I was. A plan, latterly ill conceived in my teeming mind, did gush forth.
Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a waggoner as Phaethon would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. What storm is this that blows so contrary? This night cold calls, and to its bidding come I. A greater power it is than we can contradict.
There she was, that day, her wedding day, there to her chamber, as was most fit, there to summon her. And that was how I chanced on her dead body. For there she lay, dead. I, full excitement, pulled aside the bed curtains, my heart singing on high, turned I to her sleeping body. Mistress, what mistress? Juliet. Fast asleep, I warranted her. Why, lamb, why, lady, fie, you slugabet. Why, love, I say, sweetheart, madam, why, bride. What? Not a word? You take your penny's worth now, I warranted her. Sleep for a week. For the next night, the county Paris has set of his rest, that you shall rest but little.
Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not thy nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. Then gave I her, so tutored by my art, a sleeping potion. Take thou this phial, being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off, when presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humour. For no pulse shall keep his native progress, but surcease. Time is out. There are but minutes before my sovereign prince all I must bear. A simple defence defines where the terrible truth maligns the course of events as we do perceive and partake. Short shrift but stays my noble deed's execution, as I to my Maker and Lord humble amends make.
Where is it that I am? Where is it that I am? This place of nowhere yet somewhere is. What satisfaction canst I have this night? Aye, those attires are best, but gentle nurse, I pray thee, leave me to myself tonight, for I have need of many orisons to move the heavens to smile upon my state, which, well, thou knowest, is cross and full of sin. Honest nurse, farewell. To move the heavens to smile upon my state. Smile, heavens, smile, that on this sorry state a blessing be bestowed, relieving the betossed soul, bringing it crashing onto rocks of peace and rest. My betossed soul, cross and full of sin. What sin is this that harbourest deep within, gnawing, gnarling, eating outwards my very innards till their very form is self-consumed, spat out, despised? How, therefore, shall I be thus cross?
Marian, amen. How sound was she asleep? I must needs wake her. Madam, madam, madam. Oh, not a sound. Not so much as a murmur. Aye, let the county take you in your bed. He'll fright you up, in faith, will he not me? So then sat it the sheets, throw to one side. What, dressed, and in your clothes, and down again? I must needs wake you. Lady, lady, lady. Oh, I knew then it wasn't right. Wasn't natural. Oh, then did my heart unsteady itself, my breath expire itself, my hand tremble itself. Alas, alas, help, help, my lady's dead. Oh, well a day that ever I was born. Some aqua vita, oh, my lord, my lady, oh, my Juliet, oh, Lord a day, Lord a day.
And here I stand, both to impeach and purge, myself condemned and myself excused. But when I came, some moments ere the time of her awaking, here untimely lay the noble Paris and true Romeo dead. Romeo. Killed by Paris. Juliet's husband-to-be. Noble Paris, another innocent, entrapped and now dead. Oh, true Romeo, what shall I say of thee? Misguided youth, by me and much beside, taken from unformed manhood into death's domain, as is the lamb taken before his time. Ignorance and fate his only crime. So much thus did I for you.
Therefore, cross be. Spit forth anger, unruly spleen, vent your vapours. Pour down your unstopping, unholy purgations that on my unbowed head fall unholy ash. Thus from my lips by yours my sin is purged. Then have my lips the sin that they have took. I have a faint, cold fear thrills through my veins that almost freezes up the heat of life. What if this mixture did not work at all? Shall I be married then tomorrow morning? No. No. This dagger shall forbid it. Lie thou there. What say I? Can I love the gentleman? Read, oh, the volume of young Paris' face and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. So shall I share all that he doth possess by having him, making myself no less?
I would the fool were married to her grave. That her ladyship said. Is she not proud? Does she not count her blessed, unworthy as she is, that we have wrought so worthy a gentleman to be her bridegroom? That his lordship said. Go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, or I will drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you green sickness carrion! Out, you baggage, you tallow face! Oh, hang thee, you baggage! Disobedient wretch! Back then, that very first day, nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Go, nurse. Stay, nurse. I shall never forget it. She were in her moods. Something was afoot. You could cut the air with got me a-going, like I always does. Full throttle. Bubbling away for queen and country. Nothing stopping.
So smile the heavens upon this holy act, that after hours with sorrow chide us not. Heavens, one small word. So many designs, so much sorrow, so much sway.
That thou consent to marry us today.
For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household rancour to pure love. I did not intend all this to happen. I did it for the best. My work here on this earth, at heaven's command, does work in ways unknown. None of us know the reasons why. We strive, we stumble, we fall to the ground, and so there lie. Judge us not for what we do not deserve. She came to me with her grief, begged my help when no others would give. Others have their hand in these sad tidings. Each step of the way, twists and turns deceive and so beguile our designs. And till we the path no longer can discern. Our only guide are fractured minds.
And let the nurse this night sit up with you, for I'm sure you have your hands full all in this so sudden business. Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. Parting is such sweet... Alas, no more. Is there no pity, sitting in the clouds that sees into the bottom of my grief? Oh, sweet my mother, cast me not away. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite. And all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Thy purpose marriage? Aye, yet Romeo did not that purpose propose. I did, indeed, and in thought.
Oh, for even the day before, she broke her brow. Standing a tiptoe, stretching up high, down she fell. Oh, and then my husband, God be with his soul, always a merry man, took up the chat. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backwards when thou hast no more wit, wilt thou not, Jill? And by my holy name, the pretty wretch left crying and said, Aye. Wilt thou not, Jill? And said, Aye. That she did. Aye. Always she said aye. No contention, no contradiction, no nothing. And yet, underneath, she always seemed troubled. To see now how a jest shall come about. I warranted I should live 1,000 years. I never shall forget it. Wilt thou not, Jill, quoth he? And pretty fool, it stinted and said, Aye. Wilt thou not, Jill, and said, Aye. That she did.
I married them, and their stolen marriage day was Tybalt's doomsday. 2 became 1, then 1 became no one. Oh, I cannot fathom these depths. It is too much. I needs must the prince convince of my unintended consequences, give due account of desperate times bearing desperate measures, deny any accusations that my behaviour was not honourable. There, in my cell, Juliet did confront me alone. Hold, daughter, I do spy a kind of hope, which craves as desperate an execution as that is desperate which we would prevent. Surely he will see that our authorities require that our assistance is freely given to those who seek it. To save a child, the taking of her life, I did forestall her actions, as is my calling. The potion I administered contrived a stay of execution, gave her hope and time, that on waking, this unfortunate turn of events would be upturned.
I'll call them back again to comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? Ascend my chamber hence and comfort me. Yet my husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep I then? I'll not to bed tonight. Let me alone. My dismal scene, I needs must act alone. I am almost afraid to stand alone. Come, vile.
Enough of this, I pray thee. Hold thy peace. That's what she said. That she did. What she did always say. Ah, but my Jewel, God rest her soul. That shall she? Marry, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years. And she was weaned. I never shall forget it. 11 years. just afore Susan was taken from thee. Why, such a lovely, just like Juliet. Oh, and she so loved that child, took her as her own. Oh, and lay there peacefully aside each other, two peas as a pod, happy as the lark. They were both mine, both as one. And now, both are taken. God takes as he finds.
Baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that's nature's mother is her tomb, and we sucking on her natural bosom find many, for many virtues excellent. None but for some, and yet all different. How oft to this have I subscribed? Yet all that is simple is not all good. How oft have my best intentions to ashes turned, when my unstinting efforts to others' aid burned. Overarching stretch the aspiring hands, that they to heaven's munificence abide, and there to find accord with its grand plans, until, without succour, they fell, withered, and then died. I must not dally a while. Canker death has now consumed that tender flower. Raw pain does now reside where once cold reason. I have no words, no paint to overgloss. To make right what is wrong is my only reprieve.
What if it be a poison, which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead, lest in this marriage he should be dishonoured because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is. And yet, methinks it should not, for he hath still been tried a holy man. Can heaven be so envious? Heaven, that promises much, yet shall we earth-treading stars make dark heaven light? How if, when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in the vault to whose foul mouth no healthsome air breathes in, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes?
Says I, my lord and you were then at Mantua. Nay, I do bear the brain, for as I said, when he did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dog and felt it bitter, oh, pretty fool, to see it all touchy and fall out with the dog. Such a falling out. And since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand alone. Nay, by the rood she could have run and waddled all about. Oh, so much for her. Such striving, all as a trying, all as a falling, all as a picking herself up. Such times as those.
Then gave I her, so tutored by my art, a sleeping potion, which so took effect as I intended, for it wrought on her the form of death. I didn't intend that. It was not meant to be. How could I have known? Foreseen the unforeseeable, prevented the inevitable. She was desperate. Beside herself with grief and rage, she would have killed herself there, before my very eyes.
If in thy wisdom thou canst give no help, do thou but call my resolution wise, and with this knife I'll help it presently. God joins my heart and Romeo's, thou our hands, and here, this hand by thee to Romeo's seal should be the label to another deed.
I had no choice, no escape.
Or if I live, is it not very like the horrible conceit of death and night, together with the terror of the place, as in a vault, An ancient receptacle where for these many 100 years the bones of all my buried ancestors are packed. As from heaven I do fall, down to the Capulet, down with the Capulet, down with the Montagues. All is down, quite down. All is lost. Where bloody Tybalt, yet but green in earth, lies festering in his shroud, where, as they say at some hours in the night, spirits resort. This gentleman, my very friend, hath got his mortal hurt in my Romeo's behalf, my reputation stained. Now Romeo hath stained the childhood of our joy. All is despair.
Juliet, lovely lass that she was, her had her moods, her dark days as I called them. The longest slack on drudge's work, 1 minute up, the next minute down. We do defy the slavery. Oh, but she had such spirit, such... He's but a fool that goes to school. Like there was something else. Oh, there was no touch in them days. She'd just say, leave me, nurse. I just want to be alone. Oh, proper grown up like she had her a secret. A one I couldn't tell. Bittersweet, even then. I've oft wondered, my Susan and her, Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. Oh, she was too good for me, but as I said, uncanny it was, like she wanted to be alone with Susan. Ah, stupid, I know, but it made a sense to me. Oh, we delight in bravery.
I must be brief, for my short date of breath is not so long as is a tedious tale. Black and pretentious must this humour prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove. But I, my own affection's counsellor, am to myself, I will not say how true, but to myself so secret and so close. Oh, all do struggle, all do on our predicaments impale ourselves squirming, denying ourselves the very truth. So will be to nature, both prisoner and jailer.
Alack, alack, is it not like that I so early waking, what with loathsome smells and shrieks like mandrakes torn out of the earth, that living mortals hearing them run mad? Alone, with only these my nightmares for comfort. Alack, alack the day that night should ever here stay. Oh, if I wake, shall I not be distraught, environed with all these hideous fears, and madly play with my forefathers' joints and pluck the mangled Tybalt from his shroud? Ancient damnation, O most wicked fiend! Oh, break my heart, poor bankrupt, break at once. To liberty, eyes ne'er look on this prison. Vile heaven, to earth resign, end motion here. Rise up, you vaunting spirits, and in this rage, with some great kinsman's bone as with a club, then dash out my desperate brains.
Juliet told him to his face. Told her father she wasn't having none of it. She was not marrying Paris. No. Such a brave soul. Then she turned to me, asked for my help. Faith. Here it is, says I. Romeo is banished and all the world to nothing. that he dares ne'er come back to challenge you, or if he do, it needs must be by stealth. Then, since the case so stands, as now it doth, I think you are best married with the county. I said it to her straight. Her face said it all. She didn't say a word. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Romeo's a dishclout to him. Beshrew my very heart. I think you are happy in this second match, for it excels your first. Or if it did not, your first is dead. Oh, 'twere as good he were as living here and you no use of him. We never spoke more.
Could I but learn from whence my sorrows grow, I would willingly give cure us know. The gnawing, yearning wells deep from below, takes hold of retreating light's dim glow, till all essence and form is to anvil put. No life, no death, just evermore rust, and nowhere where should be somewhere. I've lost myself. I am not here. This is not Friar Lawrence. He's some other where. He's gone. Where once he was, a gaping hole is but there now. Where can resolution be found when there is no steady ground underneath this hollowed form? What shelter from this raging storm?
Oh, God. Oh, nurse. How shall this be prevented? Comfort me. Counsel me. What sayest thou? Hast thou not a word of joy? Some comfort, nurse! Oh, look. Methinks I see my cousin's ghost seeking out Romeo that did spit his body upon a rapier's point. Stay, Tybalt, stay. Stay, Tybalt! Return back to that unholy place. Take back your unwarranted advances, your infectious, insidious clutches, your all-pervading stench of dying authority. For too long, I and my kind have from yours taken your assault, your abuse, your atrocities. No more ever shall I take it. Enough! Enough! Take thou this for all my uncalled harm, my endured silences, my silent grief, my terror. This I do for thee, for we, and for me. No more. No more. No more.
She took an umbrage like as such I never did before. Hard it is to ever bend the ways, to stay true to what's right. Or does it avail for hence to sail, and lead our life in toiling? Or to what end should we spend our days in irksome moiling? I angered her. I told her Paris was the properer man. Yet I warrant you, when I did so, she looked as pale as any clout in the versal world. Oh, God. Always I did what I could, what I'd think best for her. Sometimes the best isn't always the best. And sometimes it's the worst. It is the best to live at rest and take it as God doth send it, to haunt each wake, mirth to make, and with good fellows spend it.
Then All alone at the prefixed time came I to take her from her kindred's vault. Romeo, there dead, was husband to that Juliet. Alas, poor Romeo. Yet he was already dead. Juliet's unintended, unleashed arrows did him mortally wound. Oh, peace, hope, for shame. Confusion's cure lives not in these confusions. Heaven and myself had a part in that fair maid. Now heaven hath all, and all the better is it for the maid. My part in her I could not keep from death, yet heaven keeps his part in eternal life. The most I sought was her promotion, for 'twas his heaven she should be advanced. And weep me now, seeing she is advanced above the clouds as high as heaven itself? All this I know, and to the marriage her nurse is privy. But I married them.
Oh, comfortable Friar, where is my lord? I do remember well where I should be, and there I am. Where is my Romeo? Oh God, I have an ill-divining soul. Methinks I see thee, Romeo, now thou art below as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails or thou look'st pale. My husband is on this earth, my faith in heaven. How shall that faith return again to earth unless my husband send it me from heaven by leaving earth? Alack, alack that heaven should practice stratagems upon so soft a subject as myself. Love, give me strength, and strength shall help afford. Is that you, my love? Oh, come, sweet my lord, come to my bosom and there rest. Alas, he's cold. His blood is settled, his joints are stiff. Life and these lips have long been separated. Death lies on him like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the field.
That ever I should have lived to see thee dead. What doth avail the hour to wail with pensiveness in sorrow? Who can tell that he shall well live here until the morrow? Ah, well, death's the end of all. Peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou was the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed. And I did live to see thee married once. I had my wish. Aye, privy was I to their marriage. Thoughts of Juliet's marriage did never stray far from my mind. So she had her wish, her Romeo, and I had mine too. No more to be said.
For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancour to pure love. Poor sacrifices of their enmity. Their enmities, dark shadow, cast long and hard, obscured heaven's rays, blighting these young lovers. Oh, how foolish we fathers be when overlooking our stupidity. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in its taste confounds the appetite. I am the greatest, able to do least, yet most suspected, as time and place doth make against me of this direful murder. I am the greatest, able to do least, for there in truth lies the truth, And yet, in truth, the truth does there lie. I am the least, yet able to do the greatest. And if aught in this miscarried by my fault, let my old life be sacrificed some hour before its time unto the rigour of severest law.
Thy lips are warm. My lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. Thus from my lips, by yours, my sin is purged. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? You did not deserve this. And for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. All that, and so much more, but trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true forevermore until the end of time. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say I, and that thou did, unquestioning, unasked for. It was too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. Good night, my love. Together we will be for eternity. I come, anon, yea, noise, and then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, here's to my love.
Back to Naples, welcoming. Back home, where I grew up, where I did marry my husband. Just like Juliet. And now all is packed, all put away. We live to fight another day. Oh. Susan, God in heaven bless her. Juliet, now God in heaven bless thee too. Will therefore forevermore, whilst our life is lasting, eat, drink and sleep, merry keep, to saintly folkly fasting.